It's okay. It's close, it's close. For the longest time, Randy's been saying, Joanne, you gotta come over, you gotta do the show. Because, that's how Randy talks. Sorry, Randy. Pushed me, and he pushed me. And you know what? He Tanya-hearted my leg. I'm here, Randy, I'm here. That's okay. This is the 5th time I've done this kind of thing. So, first time here. I'm originally from New York City, thank you. Yeah, I'm originally from New York City. And I know that's weird because I'm Italian and I'm from New York, so that's a very, uncommon thing, very uncommon. Yes, I know. First 12 years of my life, I was in Staten Island, New York, Staten Island. I had your typical Staten Island upbringing. My father was a butcher. Well, actually, I just realized something. They called him Joe the Butcher. No, I'm sure. I'm sure he was a real butcher. No, I'm sure. Oh my goodness. He wore an apron. There was blood on it a lot of times. But I'm sure it was from being a butcher. I do know, though, that the neighbors would say, if you want something done, if you want it done right, you go to Joe the Butcher. Now, I'm sure they were talking about a good veal cutlet. I hope they were talking about a good veal cutlet. Oh my goodness. But while my dad was butchering in the city, my mom would stay at home. She was a stay-at-home house. I'm going to stop right there. She wasn't a housewife. She kind of stayed at home. I don't really know what she did because I do know that when we came home, the house tended to be way worse than when we left. I don't know what that was about. But I do know that when we came home, there were times that my mom would look at us and say, just like disappointment, oh, they made it home. I'm gonna have to cook dinner now, And being Italian and from New York, dinner consisted of, my dad was a butcher, so it was meat or macaroni. Meat, macaroni. That's all we did. We never did anything out of the ordinary. And yet we would torture my mom. We'd say, yo, Ma, what's for dinner? Because that's how all kids in New York talk. My mom she'd have these 2 sayings, and one saying was, cat's tails and pig's gravy. I don't know where that came from, but cat's tails and pig's gravy. The other saying was, poop on a stick. You're gonna have poop on a stick. Now leave me alone. And it was a weird thing for her to say, but we thought, we knew she was gonna say it. It was just kind of this weird thing that my mom did. So, when I was 12 years old, I moved out here with my parents. My mom and dad decided, they gave us a week notice, and they said, hey, we're gonna be moving. We bought a station wagon. Say goodbye to your friends. Now I know what you're thinking, Italian, my dad was a butcher. It's not like that, it's totally not like that. No, seriously. It was a game we like to call relocation. And my favorite part about relocation was when we stopped in St. Louis and we dyed our hair blonde. I loved dyeing my hair blonde. It was fun. I always wanted to be a blonde. But on the way, I know, it's weird. On the way here, my parents would stop. Now, literally, it took 3 days to get here. Not saying it was shady, but you gotta think about some of these things. So, on the way here, my parents stopped. I think it was somewhere outside of New Mexico. And my dad filled up his car with gas. My mom went, she said, I'm gonna go get you some food. So we'll be right back. Behave yourselves. Now, here I am, 12 years old, in the back seat of the car. I have my 11-year-old brother and my 6-year-old brother. My 6-year-old brother leans over toward me when my mom gets out of the car. And he says, oh, Ann, because he had a speech impediment and he couldn't say the J sound. Oh, Ann, what are we gonna have for dinner? So I look over at him, I look over at my 11-year-old brother. I pull out one of my mom's favorites, poop on a stick. Now leave me alone. So of course they laughed because I actually didn't say poop because my mom didn't say poop, it was a different word, but Randy said, you have to say poop when you're here, so I said that. So we go back to our little drawing things. She goes, I'm 12, my brother's 11, and my other little brother is 6. So my brother, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, starts crying. He's looking out the window, and he starts crying for no reason, my 6-year-old brother. And I see why he's crying. Walking toward the car is my mom. Now, in her hand is, a bunch of snacks, soda pop, candy, magazines, stuff for us to do. And apparently some sort of dinner. She hands us what is our dinner. And I'll be honest, this woman has gone mad. This woman hates me. I don't know why, but for some reason, all I know is I come from a meat and macaroni world, people. I do not know, at this point, I'm 12 years old, I did not know what a taco was. I'd never seen a burrito from New York. My dad was a butcher. Casserole, that's too complicated, you know? My mom hands us this, says, eat it, you're gonna enjoy it, you're gonna like it. Okay, now people, I now know they're corn dogs, but they were poop on a stick. I've never seen such a thing. This is a true story. I'm not eating any duty food. I am not a duty food eater. And I know that my mom, you know, of course she put it in our hands and said, it's a hot dog, you know, eat it, you'll enjoy it. And my brothers, of course, they ate it. I've never had a duty food, corn dog since then. But seriously, most of this stuff is made up. My dad was not a butcher. My mom, she loved us. And we did not dye our hair in St. Louis. Help me. Thank you, that's my time.